All right, greetings. My name is Temba Joshua Sibisi. Um, I'm just happy to join you today. I just want to talk about the situation, the thing that happened in South Africa on the 17th and on the 18th of December 2024. We all know what happened. We know that we lost 2 lives. A couple that was that had separated, that was no longer dating, but had a lot of problems. We know there's a guy by Lawrence Ndaka who posted a video of himself after killing his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and yeah, man, it's sad that things had to end that way. We all share the same sentiments to say, if he was that hurt and if he saw that, he is being used and he was tired, why didn't he just leave? I mean, we all say that, right? That is not a simplistic. I don't want to say that view is a very simplistic view. It's hard to just leave after a great investment in anything, actually. There's a fallacy called the sunken cost fallacy. So basically, it's like me. Let me just, guys, I'm just sorry for this. I need to fix something here. Just a second. I don't know, but the lighting was just too much. I don't know if now it's okay, but I'll see as the video goes. The lighting was just too bad. So I had to fix something there on the lighting. But so the sunken cost fallacy says that if you continue with something, and you see it to the end, even though the results or the outcome, that it's not going to end well. But because you have already invested much, you feel like you just want to go the length and come back. It's like if, say, I once had this lady actually explaining this thing very nice. She's like, let's say you are going to buy milk from, let's say there's a Pick n Pay or there's a food store from your place, maybe 40 kilometers. Okay, 40 is too much. Let's say 18 kilometers or let's say 14 kilometers away from your house. You really need milk, right? Or you really need maybe meat. And so you drive, it's 14 kilometers. So you drive like 7 kilometers or 8 or 9 kilometers. And midway, you realize that actually the store is closed. You get a notification to say that the store is actually closed. Like, they're sorry, there's a power outage. Then they had to close early. So, and you've already driven 14 kilometers, not 14, but maybe 10 kilometers, or you've already driven 9 kilometers. What do? Do you do a U-turn and go back, or you continue and just say, you know what, I'll continue, I'll see what happens when I get there, it's okay? What do you do? So that's the sunken cost fallacy. So if you continue, you'll continue on the basis that you have already driven much, you have already invested, you have already used a lot of fuel, you have already emotionally invested. So you might as well just go get there, see for yourself that the store is closed, and then come back. That is called the sunken cost fallacy. So even in life, there are so many situations where we invest in stuff, we invest in people, we invest in relationships, we invest in our education, we invest in families, and you find that you have already invested much. Say you are helping someone, let's say someone is struggling with drug abuse, and you've been helping them every day you've been like, I want, there's a word I wanted to use, but you've been trying, you know, like diligently, yeah, diligently. You've been trying diligently to help these people, to beat the problems that they are having, the drug issue that they are facing, and you are trying, man. You're using your resources, but these people never change. At some point, you need to say, you know what, it's okay. I've done much. If they don't change, I've done my part. It's okay. God knows that I've done my part. I need to leave now. So, having that said, the brother who had invested in the girl, according to the video and according to his explanation, and he has invested so much that he felt that, you know what, after this great investment, we might as well just go through with it. We might as well just spend everything so that no one gets anything at the end of the day. Whoever this girl was going to move on with doesn't get the girl, and even the girl's happiness doesn't continue, because the guy wanted to be part of that happiness. The guy was like, okay, you've already messed up my life. I've sacrificed a lot of things. I overlooked a lot of things for you. And now I'm at a place where I'm single again. The person that I had decided to start life with has rejected me, like doesn't want me anymore. And I'm at a place where I cannot, it's like I did everything. I even did illegal things, because remember on that video, just that, I think you can find the video anywhere, but the guy states that I helped you get the RAF. The RAF is I think is the Road Accident Fund. I helped you get the RAF. So I was speaking to a friend of mine who understands Zulu very well, like the Zulu from KZN. I understand Zulu as well, but he understands the one from KZN, it's from KZN. So he was saying, the guy, apparently, I don't know where my friend heard this, but he was saying that apparently the guy is like, he hit the girl with the car, like they planned this accident, and so that the girl can be injured through a car accident, and then the girl can go and claim that RAF money. So the guy in the video says, I even helped you with that RAF money, but then this is how you thank me, right? You reject me. And the guy even states that, you know what, we once together, I paid for your lobola, and oh, okay, so the lobola purchase was actually stated by the guy's father, but the guy stated that you even got a child out of our relationship, outside the relationship. You went out, someone got you pregnant, and then you came back. I forgave that. And now we did the RAF thing. You rejected me after that. I said, fine, let me move on with life. And after having moved on, you came back to my life. And I was like, okay, let's fix things. And I accept you back, and then only for you to take videos and send to the person that I was already dating when you came back. And that person now rejected me because of you, for what you did. And now, after that, I'm like, okay, we will be together now, because you also want someone and I'm alone. I mean, already you've messed up that one, so I'm with you. So, but in that moment, you reject me again. So that's where the boiling point was. That's where the guy was like, you know what, I've had enough of this. And for me to say this, I'm not condoning what the guy did. I mean, we all can see clearly that this was wrong, this was illegal, this was it was punishable by law. If the guy was still alive today, he would be arrested. I mean, he would be considered as a menace to society. Like no one would want to hear his story, hear his voice. The guy people would be happy for him to be crucified. But then we all know, like, I mean, the judgment on the guy's actions is very easy. We can see that. But then on the girl, I don't want to really dwell too much on the girl, on what she did, whether she deserved it. I mean, even if you can do something, even if you can go out now and still maybe do some money laundering and steal a lot of cash, I mean, the state will not kill you. The state will not hang you. There's no punishment in South Africa. There's no offense in South Africa that is deserving of death, right? Or that is punishable by death. I mean, death sentence is no longer a thing in our land. So even if the girl did something so terrible, like she'll only be arrested, maybe life sentence or many years in prison, but she'll never be killed, right? So killing someone is not a solution, and it's not supposed to happen, right? So those are the two things that we need to consider first before we analyze the situation here. And so we know the surface part. We know the guy was wrong. To say the girl was wrong or not, man, I don't want to say the girl was wrong, right? Firstly, before I say anything, let me just say condolences to the families involved in this. Condolences to the guy's family. So the guy, on the next day, on the 18th, he then took his life. Like, he went and they found his body hanging on the tree. So he committed suicide. And yeah, obviously the girl was killed previous day. So yeah, man, condolences to the families involved. And we don't want to use your pain as something just to comment about. It's important to you. What has happened is important to you, and we don't know much. Like, there's people who are more qualified to speak about this than us, maybe family members, close friends, and everyone around that situation. But with us as a social, this thing is a social matter now. I mean, it's one of the social things that the country has been speaking about, like gender-based violence and all that, abuse against women and children. It's something. It's a social discourse. Like, it's something that we need to talk about, and it's something that we can learn something from. We can take lessons from this situation. And as a society, it's really important to also state that, when things like this happen, you don't just bash and say, I was listening to his brother, I forgot his name, but if you know Penwell Mlojwa, his younger brother has a YouTube channel, and he was also commenting about this, and he was saying that to just say men are trash, men are dogs, it doesn't solve any problem. Like, it doesn't make the situation any better. It doesn't save us from such events in the future. It doesn't guarantee that another guy will not kill a girl, like maybe 6 months from now or 12 months from now, next year December. It doesn't guarantee anything. So to just say men are trash is insufficient, right? It doesn't help. Like, it's just concluding, but then what? Yeah, they are trash, then what, right? So, and also, there's a book by Gabo Mate. Like this book here by Gabo Mate. Like, I just don't know. Oh, wow. Okay, can I just read something for you so that you can... I love this part. Like, the book is on addiction though, but he speaks about addiction, but he speaks about society. He says, no society can understand itself without looking at its shadow side. I believe there is one addiction process, whether it is manifested in the lethal substance dependencies of my downtown east side patients, the frantic self-soothing of overeaters or shopaholics, the obsession of gamblers, sexaholics, and compulsive internet users, or the socially acceptable or even admired behaviors of the workaholic. Drug addicts are often dismissed and discounted as unworthy of empathy and respect. In telling their stories, my intent is twofold: to help their voices to be heard and to shed light on the origins and nature of their ill-fated struggle to overcome suffering through substance abuse. They have much in common with the society that ostracizes them. If they seem to have chosen a path to nowhere, they still have much to teach the rest of us. In the dark mirror of their lives, we can trace outlines of our own. In the dark mirrors of their life, we can trace outlines of our own. So, He says that there's no society that can understand itself without looking at its own shadow. So this situation, what has happened in South Africa, is a shadow of what is happening in most relationships. It's a shadow of what is happening in our society in general. So it's telling us something. We need to look and introspect. It's telling us as men something that we need to look at and introspect. You know, if you look at the video of that father, the guy's father, I watched the video, you know, and I sympathize with that man. Because for me, I was even amazed that the guy has a father. Because usually, you know, when you check a lot of videos, like, you know, these crime videos, these ex-convicts, like Skim GP, when you check his podcast, he interviews a lot of people who are ex-convicts. And when you check those videos, there's a pattern there. Most of these people are from single mother households. Their fathers were not present in their lives. Their fathers were abusive and stuff like that. And then these guys grew up to have anger, they have trauma, and they ended up being criminals, right? And they ended up in prison. So you have a situation where there's a young man who ends up killing a lady that is dating. And not only that, but he takes his own life, right? So what do we say? What is the comment? Like, what can we learn from that? But there's something that the father says also in the video. He says, when SABC, I think the news channels were interviewing him, the guy says his son was a quiet boy. Like, he was very shy. So socially, he couldn't speak his mind openly. He was a guy who used to bottle things, apparently. And then the father says, this guy only spoke when he was drunk. Like, when he was drunk, that's where he had the courage to actually speak about his issues. That's where he had the courage to tell people respectfully what he doesn't like when he was drunk. But normally, he wouldn't speak, right? And we know this, man. As men, that is what we mostly do. Most of the guys do that. We don't speak our mind. We don't speak how we feel. We don't say how we feel. We don't share these things, man. We keep quiet with this deep-seated pain for years and years, and we don't say. And that's where the problem starts, because we need to be authentic. We need to come out and say, you know what, I'm not feeling okay here. I'm not happy with this thing. And when we do that, we'll be able now to release, you know, these emotions, man. Like, our emotional self as men is so important. Not only, you know, women, yeah, we know it's not like women don't do evil things. They do evil things as well. But women are always in therapy. Women are always talking to each other, man. Like, they find girls talking. They are always talking. They are always sharing how they feel, and it's important to them. But as men, we don't talk about our feelings, you know. And it sounds like it's not mainly to talk about our feelings, but it is important to talk about your feelings, because it matters. The way you feel matters. The way you feel, what is inside of you matters. Because if you are just going to be act brave, act tough, be the macho man, and just keep it moving and not show sadness, show anger, disappointment, you know, like, it's important to be angry. It's important. Don't hold it inside, because if you are going to hold those emotions inside, there's a day where they are going to erupt. And when they do erupt, you are going to kill people. You are going to do something terrible. So that emotional self is important. It needs to be expressed. But so that meaning, if you are always quiet about things, you will die. Like, if a baby is always quiet, and when the baby needs, let's say the baby needs food, needs to be fed, and the baby doesn't cry, that baby will die. That baby will die at the back, right? If the baby is at the back of the mother and doesn't cry, that baby will die, because the crying baby is alerting the mother that something is wrong. See, so that's why I'm saying, as men, we need to take lessons, gents. We cannot just rely on alcohol to vent. We can't rely on alcohol to vent. You can't also rely on people to vent. Some people will must misunderstand you. We need to have It's either we need to have a brotherhood where we gather together and talk about our shadow, our pain, our deepest fears, our mistakes, and talk as gents and speak about these things, because that is the beginning of healing. When you speak about your pain, that is the beginning of healing. What do we do when you go to therapy? I know a lot of guys don't go to therapy. I know therapy is like, it's a feminine thing. You know, I'm going for therapy. I go for therapy because I know that there are things that I go through, man. They are not okay. I need a person who's trained professionally to come and listen to me and say something and give me pointers to say, all right, Temba, this is what you're dealing with. What can you do in this situation? How else can you act in this situation? You understand? So that who can also validate my emotions, because those emotions don't come from anywhere. Sometimes it's bad thoughts, it's the thought process. Sometimes it's childhood trauma, sometimes it's fears. So, you know, it's important as men to vent. We cannot be relying on alcohol only, right? We need to be talking. We need to sit together and say, gents, this is my issues. See, these women that I'm dating, this and this and this and that. I'm struggling here and there. And we need to be vulnerable. I think that is so important. As a man, if you can afford, I think the guy was driving a nice car. According to what I saw some pictures. The guy was living a good life, I think. That's what I think. I don't know. You know, we don't know people's finances. But therapy is not expensive, gents. I think therapy is not expensive. Just go there, speak about your issues before you do something terrible. This thing takes me back to what happened. I forgot the date, but most of you will know what happened in South Africa when the whole family got destroyed by a guy who used to sell alcohol. You know, you remember what happened in Orange Farm this year? I just want to check for you quickly what happened in Orange Farm this year. Let me just quickly check for you. I just want to have the dates and the facts, how many people died and all that in Orange Farm. There was a guy, you see, like this story, it's the same story. It's the same thing that happened. It's a similar thing. Come on, what is it doing? What is it happening? What's happening here? What is this thing doing now? Man, sorry for that. Let me just wait for the internet. It's very slow. I'm checking this thing on my laptop. Okay, so now in Orange Farm, some guy, you remember the Orange Farm shooting? Like, just look, I didn't even say much. I just said Orange Farm. It says Orange Farm's shooting. You see, on Sunday morning, October 13, 2024, a mass shooting occurred in the Mukokotlong informal settlement in Orange Farm, South Africa, resulting in the deaths of 7 people and injuries of 4 others. You know, so you see, it's the same thing. 8 killed in Orange Farm mass shooting. Police in Orange Farm. So you remember what happened? 7 allegedly killed by tavern owner who later killed himself after an altercation with the patron. You see, man. So can I just read this quickly? Sorry to take your time. But it says that it is reported that one of the victims went to the local tavern to buy alcohol, but he found that it was already closed. He had an altercation with the tavern owner and went back home, right? It is alleged that the tavern owner followed him where the family members were still celebrating after lobola negotiations. The tavern owner entered the house and opened fire on the family members. The tavern owner allegedly shot dead 7 people, including the 3-year-old boy. 5 of the deceased were family members The family was celebrating lobola negotiations when the attack. Oh, come on, what is this thing? Ish, guys, this internet is bad. When the attack took place, according to the police spokesperson Brick Brenda Morindili, police in Orange Farm responded to a shooting